Hi guys, welcome to Tamra, the Judeo-Christian medium. That's me, I'm Tamra. I'm a Jewish Christian medium, and I discovered that over time through many experiences with the other side in my lifetime that I'm going to make videos about, and through various means of self-discovery and reading tarot, I came across Jesus and my team, and they explained to me who I've been in a past life, who I am, who other people are, and have connected me with spirits from the other side, and I'm bringing their messages to you. So just like Jesus did when he was here, he was a messenger of God, and his messages were suggestions. So tonight, I just want to have you focus in on this candle. This is Mother Mary. It's a really pretty candle, kind of fancy. I really like it. And in the background, if you just look right above her, that is a reflection of the Chrysler Building. So yes, I'm in New York, so it's Saturday night here. Woo! This is my idea of partying now. Well, right now. And so you'll probably hear noise and people and traffic, and you can either watch this video or you can just listen. I'm gonna keep the camera focused on this candle, and I recommend, as always, to get YouTube Premium. It's not expensive, and you won't have to stop these kinds of readings, and you know, when you're listening to something really interesting, you won't have to stop for the commercials. I feel like it's a lifesaver. I love it because I'm addicted to YouTube, and I swear I don't work for YouTube. It's just a suggestion. So, okay. Let me describe what I'm going to attempt to do tonight. I've taken notes and I've had to break this up. I wanted to originally do predictions for 2023, things to look out for, things that will be happening. I did predictions for New York for 2020, and then just generalized predictions for 2021 if you want to check that out, and 2022. And at some point I'm going to go through all of my predictions, messages from Jesus, and bring up things that have happened and some things that didn't, and why. And so that will be in future videos. But tonight I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to give just an energy read for 2023, because as I was talking to my team, you know, they just started talking. Of course, that little beep, that was cute. I feel like that was Metatron. He likes little beeps. Anyway, so as I was talking to my team, I kept writing notes, and I said, guys, this is getting too long and it's too tangential, meaning sometimes I was talking about the energy, sometimes I was talking about events, and so we decided to break it up. And so tonight, I'm just going to talk about the energy of 2023, and then I'm going to make a video about events that could happen in 2023. Now, of course, I say could happen because We have planned events from the other side, but we also have free will. So they have trouble giving us exact time frames as to when things will happen sometimes in certain circumstances, because we do have free will. So also, they are always trying to prevent anything negative from happening if they can. So they are always working for us, and there is always spiritual warfare, meaning there's always a dark reptilian energy that is preying on people too. And so it is hard to predict outcomes of things, but people have, and I have, and others have, and that's another thing. It's a really good idea to watch lots of readings. If you're into this, if you're into prophecy, if you're into getting messages, trying to understand the energy, being a medium yourself, it's good to watch a lot of people. We're not in competition, at least not anyone that I know, and I'd have to say most people that I've watched are worth watching and offer something of value. I think, you could have charlatans, but there's not much in it for people. I don't want to go off on a tangent that way, but I also want you guys to know, as much as I talk to Jesus, as much as I've figured out that this work is for me and I get daily messages, I can only do so much. I'm only one person. My brain can only hold so much information. I can only write so much. So it's like watching news channels. I don't believe that one person is going to give you all of your messages or all of your information. So shop around, look around. And when Jesus was here, he wasn't able to get all of his messages out. That's why he's always talking to people and sending messages too. And he wants to remind you that his messages were suggestions. So take with that what you will. Okay, so before I get into the read, that I've written down a lot of stuff. I want to invite my team in. So if they want to add anything, correct me as I'm going through. Let me introduce my team. So we have God, who is all around us, our creator, energy. I can't really put into words what God is, but we have Jesus sitting to my right in a little circle. Jesus is to my right, and then we have Archangel Michael, and I want to thank God. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Archangel Michael. And now to the left of me is thank you, Archangel Metatron. Thank you, Archangel Eric Medhus. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel, who sits right in front of me. And then we have another semicircle that is just outside of this circle. And in this circle, I want to thank, to my right, Archangel Sandalphon, Archangel Azrael, Archangel Raphael, thank you. Thank you, Archangel Azrael. Thank you, Archangel Jophiel. Thank you, Archangel Uriel, which is me, and I will explain that further in another video. And then to my left, thank you, Archangel Zadkiel. Thank you, Archangel. Excuse me, they're talking to me. Thank you, Archangel Jeremiah. Thank you, Archangel Raguel. Thank you, Archangel Chamuel. Thank you, Archangel Ezekiel. Now we're going in a circle, so now I'm way to my far left. Thank you, Archangel Haniel. Thank you, Archangel Daniel. And thank you to the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and the Tall Whites. They are here assisting me in this reading. I am Pleiadian, Arcturian, and Tall White. So, with that being said, I also want to say, when God created humanity on Earth, He was assisted by, He asked for assistance by the Reptilians, the Arcturians, the Tall Whites, and the Pleiadians. So I'm making videos about the different galactic influences we have here on Earth, and I've already finished the reptilian video if you want to check that out. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because that's become like a main focus of my channel, and I just want to let you all know, like I said earlier, there is always spiritual warfare here on Earth. Earth is very dense, and we always have the influence of, unfortunately, the reptilian became, in some cases, became a dark reptilian energy that hangs out in the fourth dimension, affecting humans. We have dark reptilians on Earth and just reptilians on Earth, and that is explained in the video. We have people of Arcturian influence, Pleiadian, and Tall White. So, I don't know, Jesus is saying, isn't that a gas? He's using like a really old term. Anyway, he's making me laugh, and I'm moving the camera. So, because I was closing my eyes, so just be careful of my camera work there. I'm just holding my camera, so if you guys just want to listen, that might help. But anyway, so let's get into the energetic read. So, okay. Look at my notes here. I also like to do automatic writing, so I'll pray to Spirit. You guys can try this if you want, see if it works for you. I just pray to Spirit, and want to get focused here on Mother Mary. I just pray to Spirit and then start writing down what they say. So, all right. So this year, 2023, adds up to the number 7. So we all know that the number 7 is a significant number. It's a spiritual number in most religions. So why is that? Well, there's so much symbolism from the beginning of time. All of the symbolism is there just as a message to help us in self-discovery, in discovery of the world, discovery of the ethers, of the other side, of galactic influences. All of it is designed to help you understand, help us understand the universe. So the number 7 represents completion, and it also represents departures. So, okay, so let's go back to completion. So, you know, there are 7 days in a week. So, the 7th day represents completion. So, we are completing a cycle this year, and I'll explain that cycle. But this 7 also represents departures. So we're going to see a lot of people leaving the planet this year, and you can see it already. Actually, a lot of things that they've talked about have already happened in various forms, but unfortunately, people will be, and unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of star seeds leaving the planet. They are needed on the other side, needed to help humanity, and many have completed their mission here. So 7 also represents the 4 corners of the earth, the 4 archangels, plus the Holy Trinity. So the 4 earthly influences plus the Holy Trinity equals 7. So there's that. And okay, one of the first things that they said to me, and they kept saying to me about this year, 2023, is payback is a B. So what does that mean? That means a lot of negative energy and corruption that has been done. And they're showing me this cycle. I'm not an astrologer, but they're showing me a cycle of negative energy that actually started. Oops, let me fix the camera. I'm in the States, so I'm going to use a lot of United States references in this energetic read. So negative energy, the dark reptilian energy, started to gain a stronghold on Earth. They're saying when John F. Kennedy passed. So from that point on, it started gaining a stronghold. Didn't fully have a stronghold. And then they're bringing me to 2008, where the dark reptilian energy really got, like, they're just showing me under the skin, under everyone's skin, like just sneakily came in and manifested itself in the form of just racism is a big thing, divide and conquer, poverty mindset, corruption, greed. So it came in many different ways, and it's been on an upward trajectory. And unfortunately, it has sometimes taken over, really winning this spiritual warfare battle, okay? So 2020 is when things really came to a head energetically, and the dark reptilian energy was actually a little bit in the lead. And it's really, really hard to say that because, you know, I'm not here to frighten people. It's just, if you think about it energetically, we could just see that with how things played out. So as of now, when they say payback is a B, many things that were done in the dark, especially done under the dark reptilian influence, these things have started to become exposed and will continue to be exposed. We are going to see a lot of exposure, a lot of exposure. Lots of finger pointing, lots of uncovering, and some of it already has been shocking, and it will still be shocking. We're going to see where systems have collapsed, where systems unfortunately have lost their masculine energy, and where other systems have unfortunately lost their feminine energy, and where systems got tangled up and confused, where it's going to come through in our weather, in our in what we find out, information, in our infrastructure. We're going to, unfortunately, because the dark reptilian energy drew so many people to concentrate like too much in certain areas, that's what caused, Jesus says, we all have come here with a purpose. You know, sort of neutral reptilians come here with a life path. Starseeds come here with a mission, but unfortunately, the way things went, that too many people were focused in the same areas, with many people focused on things that they were not doing what they were here to do. So many things fell to the wayside. And so we will see the breakdown of structures. We've already seen that, but unfortunately, please be careful of the breakdown of infrastructure. So that's bridges, tunnels, buildings, homes. There's just been a lot of negligence, and the weather patterns are mirroring this, but there is a silver lining. The spiritual movement and many people working hard for the light. Many people have put their energy out, their tentacles, their information, and many people are just, you know, spirit. Jesus is my main messenger. So Jesus is saying many people have just had it, and he's showing me the energy of 2020, how many things, how the dark reptilian energy was winning, and many dark people and dark energies felt that they were winning, and they really felt that they had their comeuppance in 2020. And unfortunately, there were many energies that started out very positive, or I should say positive, or tried to be positive. And Jesus is telling me and has told me that almost pretty much anything that people try to accomplish here, if it shows any signs of bringing light to the planet, being successful, that the dark reptilian energy oftentimes succeeds in taking it over, or at least will try. So, there are many things that have happened since 2020 that the dark reptilian energy took over. But, so now we are in 2023, those people have had it. The energy got really dark. I'm trying not to use too many specifics because I've said them in my readings, but I just want to kind of focus on energy. So, which I don't normally do, but the energy, if you feel like you've had it and you don't want to be a part of the dark energy anymore, many people are feeling that way. They've had it so much, they're sick of anything dark, dirty, trashy, and people are wanting to work on renewal and in any way that they can. And it's not in, an overly pious or glorified way. In any way, any sort of, they're showing me neighbors like shaking hands, like people accepting each other's differences and just getting on with it. And, not wanting to be trashy, not wanting to go for the low blows. This is kind of fun. I'm trying to talk in just sort of generic terms instead of getting so specific. And I just want to do that because I want to leave it open for people to explore ways of finding their own way of bringing light to the planet, because we've become worldwide so divisive. So my team is better, my organization is better, and there's good and bad in most things, because even things that started out with a good idea, the dark reptilian energy has taken over. I'm just thinking, I could use a couple examples. BLM started out as people, wanting to protect people from being treated unfairly in the justice system, and that was corrupted. It's an obvious one. Obviously, many who worked for the Democratic Party saw lots of corruption there. And on the other side, they're even showing me like how music festivals and lots of places have just become sort of like, let me move this back, sort of like a parody of what they originally intended to be. And just understand that happens. And so we continually need renewal, and this is a really good year for renewal. And it's a quiet renewal, though. People are working behind the scenes. People are distancing themselves from drama. There's a huge awareness of spirituality. We'll see many new spiritual teachers and new ways of doing it. And there will be copycats. And, Jesus said not to worry about that. If you've been spreading messages for a while and other people are grasping onto it, it's actually good. That's the intention of spreading messages. So, we're going to see more of that. We may eventually, there's always, Jesus is correcting me. It's 2 different degrees, but, corruption in spirituality, of course. Let's focus a bit on the positive. Many people are getting into spirituality and really doing the work and the work of self-discovery, and a positive part of 2020 was it gave people that time to reflect. And then once people were freed from their cages, they tried to go back to the way things were. And then many are finding that balance of, David Bowie's singing. He's like, I know when to go out and when to stay in and get things done. Do, 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 do. Okay, I'm moving the camera around too. Sorry, guys. I'm going to grab my notes. Let's see. Yes, I wrote year of pay up and pay back. Yeah. Take that. So, yes. Okay. So how did 2020, what did that bring in? So the dark energy really manifested itself, the dark reptilian energy, through a competition of victimhood. It was energetically a competition of who was the biggest victim. And what did that do? It gave people who felt like victims a sense of entitlement. And this is not one group, this is worldwide. People were massively fighting. People in power were fighting. People didn't have power, but somehow everybody was claiming themselves to be the bigger victim. And I'm speaking in hyperbole, not everybody did this, but you know what I mean. That was the energy that came in to give the final blow that tilted the energy into the dark side. So let me see. Okay, and so also, unfortunately, what happened, especially here in the States, and then there are other areas of the world that certain parts became deeply, deeply dark and corrupt. And the people who saw it first moved away from the darkness. And what's going to be happening in 2023 is there is a bystander effect, and that's the best way that the message has been given to me. Whereas many people who denied a lot of the dark things happening because they felt that they were protected in some way, they're going to, because many people who were actually victimized left the areas of dark energy, the people who felt untouchable are now going to feel the effects. So there will be Jesus is trying to put a positive spin on this, saying, whatever energy is around you, please take note of it. Please be aware, keep yourself safe. You yourself can contain love and light. I know I have a lot of beautiful star seeds, beautiful souls of all of the influences here on the channel, who don't want drama and negativity. And you can hold that love and light, but you can also still protect yourself, and that's not living in fear. But we still have dark energy that preys on, especially will prey on any soul, any spirit, but definitely preys on light beings, star seeds, galactic beings. So the more truthful you can be, the more aware you can be of your surroundings, truthful of what's happening without living in fear. I know that that's a big issue that people have. People are even dividing spiritually. There's this group that's like, love and light, and we don't want to live in fear. And then there are the spiritual warriors, Heyoka empaths that are like, we're going to protect, and we're going to protect ourselves. But really, Jesus is asking for balance. You can protect yourself. You can be aware without living in fear. And don't judge people who protect themselves religiously. I've talked a lot on this channel about how when Jesus was here and he was Jewish, how he gave the messages to the Jewish people to stay inside from during dark time. It was dark then, and now he's telling me, you guys, a new series came out, The Chosen. I highly recommend watching that. I've only seen the first 2 seasons so far, and it's amazing. But if you watch that, you can see they struggled. The Jewish people were struggling with dark energy and crime at that time, and Jesus recommended, just as an example, that they stay inside from Friday night until Sunday morning when all the drama happens. So that's just an example of keeping yourself safe. But it doesn't mean that they were living in fear. They were enjoying themselves, enjoying their families. So it's a balancing act. And I certainly hope that some of the messages that I've given have saved people from being actual victims of crime and not having them live in fear. So, all right, let's move on here. There was a cartoon character when I was growing up called Mr. Magoo. And he just never saw danger around him. And so they're saying the Mr. Magoo effect, like, it's not possible now. They're saying that how do I put it into words? Not that it's not possible, but like, don't try to be a Mr. Magoo because of spirituality and think that, you know, that somehow it's going to make you like a nicer person or more evolved if you aren't aware of the darkness around you. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so they wanted to draw attention to, I really hope you guys aren't focusing on screen because I'm like moving it around. They wanted to draw attention to the women's movement and talk about how that started very positively, how you know, women wanted to vote and have a voice, and some women were designed to do male-oriented jobs, but how the dark reptilian energy even took over that movement. And we can just see in many areas that, you know, if it got to a point where strangely the feminist movement became anti-feminine, where the feminist movement became that women can do everything men can do, which they can't because we're biologically different. Some women are meant to have, you know, some careers that were male oriented, but it became like women should act like men, and then also, you know, men should act like women. Now there are percentages of people that, you know, are not in the right body and this and that, but it became that was it, like everybody should act a certain way, and that's how the negative reptilian energy even took over that movement, which we can see ends up having the opposite effect. So that was also around the time of the Kennedy assassination, how that when the dark energy snuck in, and how it you know, it's very sneaky and sneaking in. Jesus just really wants our attention drawn to the times it has snuck in as something positive, which was positive, that turned negative, like a trickster type energy. So yes, going back to unfortunately the bystander effect of people who think that they're immune, cool, they're in and immune to crimes. We're going to see a rise in crimes against those people this year. So I hope that makes sense. So I talked in other videos about gangs, and You know, I do live in the United States, so that's become a big thing here, but I know it's big in certain countries. But in 2020, you know, with all of the drama that happened then, the gangs really were able to reach their tentacles out. And now, the tentacles are still out, but Jesus is showing me some of them have snapped back because people are fighting back. So this year, be prepared to see a lot of vigilantism. People have had it. You'll see a big influence in neighborhood watches, and people just having had it to the point of being way more brave than they've ever been, and people really taking action, and counteractive groups to terrorism and gang activity. Expect to see a little, not a little, but a continuation of, they said, sabotage and subterfuge, the takedown of organizations. So we've already seen that. You know, I wrote these notes, started these notes about a month ago, but I've already seen it with the air traffic control going down. We might see just people sneaking into trying to sabotage big events. You know, they're showing me energy, so you know, things to do with the grid, power plants, things like that. So if you have, let me steady the camera, if you have any connection to those sorts of things, just use extra precaution, maybe talk about it a little bit, because like I've mentioned before, me reading the energy and giving you guys messages, it's not so I can be right or to sensationalize trauma. It's to help prevent things from happening too. So who knows, maybe you could be part of preventing something from happening just by talking about it, because that's really big now. As much as the dark has a stranglehold on this planet, the light can be communicated through the internet and channels like me. You know, we have the same, not the same, but yeah, like ways of getting messages out. There's so much more now. So let's see. Yes, there are movements to take down media and take down the internet. And there's like lots of Robin Hood movements, transferring money from rich to poor, which is, you know, may sound, again, the same theme of something good, but turned dark. So that is not fair and could be violent and abusive. People are still on the idea there's a dark collective energy of taking down corporations, the bigger the better. So, you know, the public needs to be very careful of that idea and backing that idea. That could be very dangerous. But On the other hand, Jesus says many scapegoats, people who have been scapegoated, organizations that have been scapegoated, will start to make a comeback in 2023. And this is with that whole idea of exposure. And also there is a huge movement that has been passed down with many star seeds, light workers, which is authenticity. So we're seeing a rise in authenticity, an acceptance of authenticity, a desire for authenticity. So that's going to give, oh, let me fix this. That's, oh, I hate to make people dizzy. I hate when I see that, but sorry guys. I get so passionate. I start like moving the camera and looking at my notes. So that will give rise to scapegoats. And we've seen that. We're seeing a rise and protection of neurodivergency and an understanding of it, and an understanding that that what is called neurodivergent could, you know, I see it, Jesus sees it as actually just different galactic influences. So I'll talk about that more at another time, but we're going to see a flip in people really accepting what is called neurodivergency, you know, which would be like autism, ADHD, and really appreciating what that influence brings to the planet. And, you know, without then criticizing, you know, neurotypicals. So from a galactic influence, not criticizing just, you know, neutral reptilians who are not dark. And that's where we have the acceptance of each other's differences and understanding that how we could all benefit each other if we, you know, just did what we're here to do, stayed in our lane sounds kind of negative, but just did what we're best at. So let me look at my notes. We're going to see more people in the medical community speaking out and wanting protection. There's been a lot of abuse in the community, and it's been through the dark reptilian energy has snuck into the medical community, and there's been, you know, it's like the same energy of like wanting to take down a corporation, just through like movies, and, you know, they're showing me something positive, like the movie Terms of Endearment, where Shirley MacLaine, who's a starseed, you know, she ran around the hospital screaming. It was a very good dramatic scene to the nurses to give her daughter medicine. Now that was like a positive message of like advocating for her daughter, but Jesus says it's getting out of control. and it's through so many channels, and the medical community has had it. So there's a huge disrespect for doctors. Many doctors are starseeds, and yes, I'm sure there are stories out there of malpractice and not, you know, there's a lot of drama with medical insurance and people trying to get proper care. But there are also many good doctors with good intentions, good nurses, and a lot of the staff is not only abused but not appreciated. And you know, Jesus says that a lot of people, when they go into the hospital and organizations, they think that it's like they're saying main character energy, where you know, everyone thinks they're the main character, and you know, back to the Shirley MacLaine scene is like, it's just become a battlefield, and there are guilty parties on all sides. Yes, some medical malpractice, but also some patients are out of control. And again, this goes back to just the dark energy in general. Let's just try to be more aware and more civilized, and try to put spirituality into practice. And it takes a lot of energy and a lot of discernment, but as much as we value spirituality to heal, we have to also work with doctors and medicine. And Jesus thinks the best scenario is for everyone just to respect each other. And if you feel like something is wrong with you, Jesus says there are many people who have just tried to use spirituality to cure something. And you know, galactic influences, angelic influences have given scientists and doctors medical information for and cures for certain diseases, and try your best to discern what that is, and try to use medical advice or medical assistance along with spiritual assistance. And you know, you can get, if you find out, say you have cancer, you can get treatment, you can get surgery, and you can have Reiki. Like, it doesn't have to be one thing or the other. Jesus is laughing. You don't have to walk around, if you're spiritual, you know, looking poor and just using essential oils instead of going to the doctor. That's just an example. And that would actually be, you know, a dark reptilian energy influencing you, making you think that, you know, all kinds of higher knowledge and medical institutions are evil. It could cost you your life. So we're going to see maybe more medical staff going on strike, wanting to work. And this came up, I think, in the 2021 read, and we're seeing it now too, like wanting to work better hours. Jesus says there's no reason why medical staff should have to work any more hours than the average person. It just, you know, they could work different hours, different shifts, but then that becomes abusive. and also unsafe for medical personnel to be, they're just human too. And Jesus says, look for, there will be new patterns in dentistry, and Jesus would like to see people involved with protecting teeth and protecting that actually dentistry has become an area of where a big dark reptilian energy has infested, where there isn't enough regulation and there isn't enough access for everyone to have really good dental care. And we're going to start to see people working towards that, like a spiritual, sacred energy towards dentistry. I said this before. Actually, many people who have laughed at spirituality in the past will start, some darker people will start copying it, and because it's going to become cool, and plagiarizing, stealing, but it's just, Jesus says that's part of just the way things work when things become popular. And try to take it with a grain of salt. Try to use your discernment when listening to others. And sometimes that just needs to happen. And try to see it as actual validation of your work. Okay, let's see. And a lot of people will, a lot of spiritual people are really going to start thriving. All right, let's see if I missed anything. We'll just sit here and listen to sirens as I read over my stuff. But it's definitely, 2023 is definitely an over the hump type of year. I don't know if you guys can feel that. Not like we're out of the woods, but we're over a hump. People are just really sick of drama. And there's going to be a Gen X, Gen Z appreciation, so that's good. People, they're saying look for movements, and start movements if you want, of people respecting their elders and respecting, just people respecting other generations, and enjoying each other's company and learning from each other. Jesus wanted to make mention of millennials, really congratulating them on really what they've done with food and working with food, and that's been a great contribution that millennials are making. Okay, so Jesus really wants you to a big energetic movement that started, well, it's been around for a while in like yoga and meditation, but really with the what happened in 2020 affected people's breathing. And so really breathing is going to become really important. How much oxygen we have, Jesus would like people to really investigate whether they have like sleep apnea, and if you wanted to get into anything that has to do with breathing, that that would be really good in 2023. That people are very concerned with toxins in the air, getting like nasal surgery, not having to use a CPAP machine, anything that can clear out their breathing. It's being highlighted this year. What has been on the rise and is really going to continue is the undercovering of trafficking. And Jesus says one of the best ways to figure this out, which many have and will continue to do, is the undercovering of the clients. There's been a big push to go to the areas where this is happening and try to figure out what's making this, the people fall victim to it, but more emphasis needs to be put on the client who is paying for this. And that's where Jesus says we'll find a way to stop it. And Jesus says people involved with that, it's really going to be uncovered, like people have had it. And also people are going to really start noticing hidden little, I don't want my channel flagged, but little people abuse in small ways, with the rise of people understanding narcissism and toxic family dynamics. People will start to notice more on TikTok and Instagram where videos look like jokes, but really the child is being abused. And I just recently saw Jesus really had me look for this. I saw a video where this woman claims her 13-month-old was being sassy, and this is really common theme on TikTok and Instagram. And she's like, look at her being sassy, talking back, and does she want a beating? And all of the comments were just laughing at her personality, and I actually made a comment and said, do 13-month-old babies, that's a baby, do they get beat, and is that normal? So things like that, like people are going to not put up with that anymore and really start to question things. People are becoming more discerning. Let's see here. Unfortunately, there are still threats of domestic terrorism, and I did mention that with the power energy grids, and I've already mentioned all of that. Also, people are going to be looking for homes made out of better quality, better quality homes, better materials, homes that make sense for the areas. So we can see that especially in areas that are you know, there has been continual weather, and Jesus says we need more people going into construction, more of the masculine energy going into construction and engineering, and learning how to match materials to the environment, like they do like in Greece and Venice, especially bringing that into the United States. That would be a good place to be successful. So Jesus wanted to make mention of there is an energy in politics that causes, you know, economic downturns, but also trends help cause economic downturns. Sorry, I've been talking for so long. Economic downturns. And one of the trends, again, that started out positive, there was this trend of, I'm trying to think of the right words, of like flipping houses and Airbnb and you know, using homes to generate more income. And that's not necessarily like, I don't want to, it didn't start off bad, but it started this greedy trend of people just, you know, in the past, many people worldwide would have, you know, if they were incredibly wealthy, might have to have like 1, 2, or 3 properties, you know, for tax purposes, for shelter. But it became popular for people to have 1, 2, 3 more homes to rent out, you know, as a source of income. And it became a greed, a lust for land, and unfortunately, with bad political decisions, helped create the housing crisis. And so we can't always blame just one source for problems. And Jesus really wanted to make note of that. And not everybody was meant to, you know, own so many properties and be like a landlord, and not everyone's even meant to go into business. Like, there are other ways to make a good income. And then again, you know, you don't want to look down at real estate or business either if that is what you're inclined to do. But it's about trends going too far and causing problems for people just, you know, trying to live, trying to buy a home, and trying to afford apartments. Now, that being said, Jesus says there's also this idea of just lumping homelessness all under the umbrella of just, you know, it being economic, when many just horrible substances have been able to filter through many countries through trade and you know, the black market, and that's unfortunately causing a lot of homelessness too, and that really needs to and people will start to really analyze what is actually causing homelessness, and not just try to say, oh, it's the economy, and just try to like put a band-aid on it by giving like food and things like that it really needs to be analyzed. And if going into that area of expertise would be like a good thing to go into spiritually in 2023. And we definitely keep you in business. Let's see here. I'm starting to fade. I'm starting to lose energy. I think we're wrapping this up. Yeah, I think that's all of my notes for now. And then I'm going to make a video, like I said, on specific events to watch out for and people of interest and what's going on with them, what to expect. And so I think I'll call that like 2023 predictions. But for now, this, I think I'm going to wrap up the 2023 energetic read. And if I start getting more messages, if things start coming up, I'll come on and make more videos. I'm really gonna work on my Galactic videos, and I have a lot of channelings that I want to do. So look out for those, and then I will be coming on with messages from Jesus, and like I said, another video with predictions for 2023. So anyway, I'm just gonna wrap it up, guys, with this siren, and we'll just focus on Mother Mary. I want to thank my spiritual team, and thank you guys for tuning in and making it this far. Thank you, Mother Mary. Anyway, have a good night and have a great 2023 and stay safe.